everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be a book haul. Before we get into the haul, I just want to say that I will be uploading every 2 days leading up to my favorite books of 2021, and then I'm going to kind of end it with my flip through of my reading journal. So I will be posting like all of the wrap-ups and all of the like important videos to wrap up 2021 reading wise, so make sure you stay tuned for all of those other videos. I haven't done a book haul since the end of October, and I actually don't have that many books to haul. I have around 14. I just haven't been buying books. I think it's because I haven't really been reading, so I haven't been wanting to buy stuff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump into the haul. The first 2 books I had were pre-orders from Indigo. The first one is Believe Me by Tahir Mafi. This is book 6.5 in the Shatter Me series. This I haven't read yet. I don't know why. I'm sure I could finish it in one sitting, so hopefully I will read this very soon. I'm pretty sure this picks up right after Imagine Me. That's all I really know about this, but I'm sure I'm gonna end up enjoying it. The other pre-order I had was Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. This is the Berkeley published edition. I do own the self-published version. It's over there. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but I do have the original edition. I really love this series and I really wanted to support Ruby Dixon, and I do think this cover is gorgeous, so I decided to go ahead and buy the published version. I'm also going to buy the second book as well. Aside from this being obviously a published or traditionally published version of the Ice Planet Barbarian series, I was wondering like what they would include for like special content or like exclusive content, and they do have the Ice Planet Honeymoon in here, which is a novella. I did read that on its own, but it is actually in this edition. But yeah, I'm very happy to have this edition and I cannot wait to reread it. Indigo ended up having a sale before Black Friday in November. They had like some sort of deal on their paperbacks. I can't remember exactly what the deal was, but it was like, I think maybe 15% off paperbacks or something. They had a great deal and I ended up buying 7 books. And that's kind of why I didn't end up buying a lot of books for Christmas, because I bought stuff before Christmas because they had better deals. So the first one is Stay With Me by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the, oh boy, I don't remember what number this is in the series. This might be like book 4 or book 5, something like that. I really enjoy this series. It's been years since I've read it and I've been slowly collecting the series. I've just been slowly collecting all of JLA's books, especially like her older books that I really love. I would love to reread this soon. I don't really remember anything about it, but I do remember really enjoying it. I think it's like low-key a boss employee romance, but I'm excited. My JLA collection is slowly growing. Then I bought Dirty Filthy Rich Man by Laurelyn Page. This is one of her dark erotica romances. I read this when it came out and really enjoyed it. I will say it is probably one of my favorites by Laurelyn Page. It is not my favorite, but it's like one of my favorites. Laurelyn Page is actually releasing another book in the series. It's called Kincaid. It's supposed to come out I think later in the year, and it's going to take place a couple of years later, and it's just going to follow Sabrina and Donovan, and I'm very excited for that. I definitely want to reread the first 2 books before that new one comes out, so I just went ahead and grabbed a physical copy of it. I bought All In and Eyes Wide Open by Rain Miller. This is book 2 and book 3 in the Blackstone Affair series. I recently hauled the first book. I think I hauled it in my last haul or the one before that. I have really enjoyed this series. It is one of my favorite erotica romance series, and I didn't own physical copies, so I finally bought these 2. I think there is also a 4th book, but I believe that one is more self-published. These are ones from Atria, so I still need to get that one, but I have like the initial trilogy, which I'm very happy about. I cannot wait to reread the series. I think I reread the first book not too long ago, but I would love to reread this entire series. It's also like a very short series. Obviously the 3rd book is really long, but Yeah, the first book is like so short, and then the second one is pretty short as well. But yeah, very happy to have this series. I am kind of disappointed that the styles of the covers don't really match. Like this one is kind of like a matte, not a matte, but like it's not glossy like this one. I'm disappointed they kind of don't match, but I mean, it's whatever. At least they're like pretty much the same height. So that I'm okay with. Then I bought book 2 and book 3 in the Pucked series. So I have Pucked Up and Pucked Over by Helena Hunting. I recently hauled the first book. I already own Pucked Off. That one is my favorite in the series. I really enjoyed this series. I would love to reread it because it has been years since I've read it. And I don't think I really appreciated this series as much back in the day. So I would love to reread it now and maybe love it more. I was also really nervous to get these from Indigo because Pucked I bought from Amazon and I was so scared that they would not match height-wise, but they actually do match. So that was like a huge relief for me. I was very scared that I would end up with like a mismatched height series. I love Helena Hunting and I'm glad I'm finally collecting some of her books because I feel like I just own her traditionally published books and I don't really own like her self-published indie stuff. So I'm happy I am growing my collection. And then the last book that I bought from Indigo for that pre-Black Friday sale in November was 10 Tiny Breaths by K.A. Tucker. This is the first book in the 10 Tiny Breaths series. I have read this whole entire series, but I didn't own the first book. I own the rest of the series, but this one I had read on my Kindle, and I decided it was the perfect time to finally grab a physical copy of it. So now I have the entire series in paperback. I'm pretty sure book 2 is my favorite in the series, but I still did really enjoy the first book. I do think this one is my least favorite in the series though, now that I'm thinking about it. But my series is now finally complete and I'm very thrilled about that. Then I ended up getting 2 books from publishers. So I got A Scoundrel of Her Own by Stacey Reed. This was sent to me by Entangled, so thank you so much for sending this my way. This I have no idea what it's about. I don't even think I own book 1 or book 2. This I think is the 3rd book. It's just a historical romance, obviously. Ooh, she's like a songstress and her male character just wants her. I don't know. Sounds like fun. I'm sure I will enjoy it whenever I get around to reading it. The other book I received was The Paid Bridesmaid by Soraya Wilson. This I believe is already out. And this was given to me by Montlake, so thank you so much for this arc. I cannot wait to read this. I think this follows our female character who is like a paid bridesmaid or like a bridesmaid for hire and like kind of a wedding planner. And she like has to go to this wedding and she meets our male character who is like a tech entrepreneur and he's like really interested in her, but he thinks that she's a spy for another company. It just sounds really fun and interesting, so I am very excited to read this and hopefully I do end up reading it soon. And then Indigo had their Boxing Day sale and I pretty much just bought 3 books. They had 30% off of all of their hardcovers. Romance doesn't really come in hardcovers, so I didn't buy any romance titles. I will say Indigo in the past has done 15% off of their romance titles or just paperbacks, but they haven't done it, I feel like, the past 2 years, and that's probably because romance is such a popular genre now. Like a lot of people read romance. It's way more popular than it used to be, so they probably don't do that anymore because it will literally sell out. But I am disappointed they just didn't have that many sales. Like they had 30% off of hardcovers. They had like their journals on sale, which I did buy and I will show in my next stationery haul. I don't know, they just didn't have that many sales and I was definitely disappointed. Anyways, the first book I bought was Violent Bent Backwards Over the Grass by Lana Del Rey. This is Lana's poetry book. I have been waiting for Boxing Day to buy this because I knew Indigo would have their hardcovers on sale, and this is quite pricey in Canada. It is like $34 and it's very small, so I didn't want to spend the full price for this. I love Lana. I love her lyrics. I love her music. and I've heard pretty decent things about this. It looks beautiful and I'm very excited to read this. I might actually read this for a very specific video, but I'm very happy to finally have this because I've been wanting it since it came out. I finally bought it. The other hardcover that I bought is Kingdom of the Cursed by Carrie Maniscalco. Have I read the first book yet? No. Do I own the first book? Yes. I just went ahead and bought the second book because it was 30% off. And also, I just have a feeling I'm going to love the first book and I'm going to want to continue anyways. So I just went ahead and grabbed the second book. I rarely do that nowadays. Like, I never buy the whole series. I will read the first book and then see if I want to continue or not. But because this was on sale, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna grab it. Like, I read Stalking Jack the Ripper and I really, really liked it. I've yet to finish that series, but I feel like I'm gonna love that series and I'm gonna love this first book. So I just bought the second book. I'm just trying to like reassure myself that I will love this series and that it was worth it. I've heard that the second book is great too. Like, I've heard really good things about it. I've heard that it's a little bit more like romance focused. So that's exciting. It's kind of a little basic for the hardcover, but yeah, this one is definitely a gamble on my part, but I feel like I'm gonna like this series, so I just went ahead and bought it. This next one I actually didn't get on sale. This was just one that I kind of wanted, and there was no specific sale or deal on it, but that is Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe. This I feel like I have seen everywhere lately, and it is a graphic novel. It is beautiful. I am so excited to read this. I've just heard wonderful things about it. And I believe this is a Persephone and Hades retelling. Or it might not even be a retelling. It just might be like a reimagined or something. Oh yeah, it's a reimagining. I've kind of been like slowly flipping through it just to see the art. And it's so gorgeous. Like, I cannot wait to sit down and like actually read it and like absorb it because it just looks beautiful. And I love like how floppy it is. I don't know. I'm just very excited to read this. I couldn't help myself and I bought it. I don't really read graphic novels that often. I used to keep up with the Saga series. I think that's what it's called. I stopped, I think I want to say at like volume 7 or 8, I would buy like each volume, and then something happens in the series that I was like, no, I don't want to read anymore. So I stopped reading it. And then I think I've read one Harley Quinn graphic novel. It was Hot in the City, I think. So I don't read graphic novels that often, but I know this one is definitely more like romance focused, and I know a lot of romance readers have been reading it and loving it. So I figured I would just go ahead and buy it. And it is something a little new and different for me. And I don't know, I just think it's going to be really fun. So I am very excited to give this a try. So those are all the books that I bought recently. I'm sorry that this wasn't a very exciting Christmas Boxing Day book haul. I did think I was going to buy a lot of books and have like a massive haul, but I think I'm going to save that for January. I have a feeling I'm going to end up buying a lot of books in January and February, because I'm going to be reading a lot. So I feel like I'm probably going to have a bigger haul then. Let me know if you got any books for Christmas or you bought some books for Boxing Day. Let me know any of your recent book buys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.